Salvete Spectatores, it's Masopust back in Total War Attila, and it's time for the Utus historical battle. I am gonna play on Legendary as always, and it's basically the Eastern Romans versus the Huns, where we are in control of the Huns. We have a lot of skirmishing cavalry, a little bit of melee and shock, and some crappy infantry with the exception of the furthest warriors on the right here. I forgot the name. I'm sorry, it's a very strong infantry. My opponent, the Romans, have very strong infantry and a little bit of cavalry. Also infantry general here. And you're gonna see the story behind it in a second.
Hostilities have been declared between the Huns and the Eastern Roman Empire, following the cancellation of an annual tribute of gold. The Hunnic king Attila and his army have stormed the Balkan regions that belong to the Eastern Empire. The Roman general Giscus has amassed a great force in an effort to stop Attila. The two armies meet in combat on the banks of the Utus River.
So opposite to the battle of the Catalonian plains, here the Huns were the historic.
The Romans approach. Leave no man alive.
Were the historic victors, and they field a typical Hunnic army with some medium infantry, most of them like allied forces, and the cavalry, the mounted cavalry, and the mounted archers, I wanted to say, are the main Hunnic contingents here. Of course, the melee component of my enemy's forces is much stronger than mine, so I'm gonna have to use all of the ammo that is available on my cavalry. And the problem with mounted bows in this I don't know, in this patch maybe, or in the game, is that they don't have Parthian shot, not all of them at least, and Parthian shot is crucial. Else there is not real, I don't know, possible chance to fire on the enemy if they have cavalry. Some of the mounted bows are very slow, so that I cannot run away from light melee cav. And they don't do a lot of damage, because many of they are very ineffective against infantry, because infantry has such a high missile block chance, most of them do. And they're somewhat effective against cavalry. Now, I baited the enemy cavalry out here, and I have a problem on my right flank where I have only one melee cav, which is going to attack. And here I gang up on the enemy cav and just destroy them. Now here I changed to heavy shot and will target the enemy axis here, because they're a very expensive unit. Here I went a little bit unfortunately and went after the raiding cav, but I should be able, well, a lot of friendly fire here, but we should be able to kill the enemy cav also on this flank. And here the enemy cav got destroyed utterly, and I'm targeting all my fire on those Attila guards, which are somewhat similar to the Warrior Guard in Medieval 2. Also the Eastern Romans, aka the Byzantines, fielded those purple heavy axe, two-handed axemen. And my melee cav got destroyed, unfortunately, so I'm gonna have to run away. But I still have my general, who is a decent melee cav. Decent, I say, is okay. Hunnic warlord. No, not at all. It's a steppe chieftain only, so even worse. And with the enemy cavalry gun on both flanks now, there is no maneuverability left for the AI. The only thing that I'm worried about are those brigands, or skirmisher infantry, because they are quite strong against cavalry. They do not rout as easily as someone would expect. And also I have to worry about the javelins on some of the units. So I have no idea why Attila Guard would carry javelins. It doesn't make sense at all. I think the CA has exaggerated with javelins a bit. Good thing is that the... Also X-Men. Why do X-Men carry javelins? It makes no sense whatsoever. Good thing is that the spear units, most of them, got rid of their javelins. I like that. It wasn't... And here, yeah, they got a... Look at this, a sweet javelin off. And what's kind of annoying for me personally is that you don't see the long spears that the units must carry. Most of them have 2 javelin volleys, so they must carry 2 spears somewhere on their body, but I do not display it anywhere. And it even makes field and cavalry, at least missile cav at this, a little bit more difficult still. I'm gonna target his general here. And I'm gonna put on fire at will, because else I'm not shooting at all. And here you can see the Hetera guard getting completely wrecked by a multiple angle shooting from my bows. All the while the infantry doesn't do anything, neither mine nor the opponents, and the AI should just charge my infantry center right away, because it would crash it, but it does not. And it... I don't know if this is programmed or if it's just a mistake, but they let themselves get singled out here. And I don't know why, but the enemy general is just running around, and to be honest, this is the easiest battle I've ever played. Speaking of historical battles here. And I really miss the difficulty of the Medieval 2 and Napoleon battles. I think I'm gonna do a, I don't know, a nostalgia special for those historical battles. I still think they're great. They're better than most of the battles here on Attila and definitely in Rome 2. I don't know why, but CA doesn't manage to catch the spirit of historical battles. I wish they did. I love historical battles. Yeah, the Romans do a pointless charge. They should know that they can never catch me here. One good thing the AI is doing, it always braces when there is a charge incoming. What also a human-controlled commander would do. After destroying the Hetera guard, my bows still have ammo left, so I'm gonna shoot at the... I don't know what this is. Protectoris Domestici for, I believe. General is wavering, so I'm gonna finish him off with a charge. All the while my cavalry is shooting. And the spears decided to go back. I don't know why, but they did. So the enemy is concentrating his forces and the general returned, but this charge should kill him. Mind the general didn't die until now. And all the while those brigands are shooting for... I don't know. Good thing is that they will retreat the second I'm attacking them, because they have...
Dead, put to the sword by our warriors. The morale of his men will suffer.
Why do they announce it 2 times? Completely unnecessary. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm ranting a lot, but... well... One thing I like is that after destroying an enemy force, the men get hung up, I've mentioned that before, on the routing unit, and this can be a really big problem, especially for cavalry. And here I'm gonna make the mistake and let my general too close to the enemy brigands, and they'll get 1 or 2 good volleys off, but will not kill Attila. Look at this here. Yeah. Unnecessary losses on my part. And I don't know what the enemy Roman infantry is doing. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. So CA told that they programmed the AI somewhat differently, or they didn't program it at all for the historical battles. But I think for historical battles it is actually a good thing when the AI is programmed and acts mostly the same most of the time. For instance, on Napoleon, that the allies in Dresden will always attack the city, or on Medieval 2, when you play Otumba, that the massive armies of the Aztecs will always charge, not in completely the same way, but basically so, and you just have to fight huge numbers. Here it's no challenge whatsoever, because the AI behaves completely idiotic, and if this were a real battle, it wouldn't make sense. In the case that Also, we have to admit now that the Roman army is leaderless, but why would the Roman emperor or general ran off with his bodyguard to chase mounted bows? It doesn't make sense. And here I'm just gonna unload all the rest of my respectable amount of ammunition, and those bows in the middle still got 2/3 of it left, so there's a lot of potential destruction. From the front, it's kind of useless to shoot at infantry. They have very good missile block chance on their shields, but from the back, close range, heavy shot, still is decent. It's time for my infantry to get ready. I reform them. And the Protectores Domestici are already shaken. Domestici, I should say. I don't know. So that's good. And I think if I would charge them from all sides, they would rout here, but... well, every man killed that has ammo left is lost ammo, so I'm not gonna do that. And I just can run away on very close quarters here. And all this constant turning of my enemy makes them more vulnerable still. So you won't even learn anything new from this battle here. I'm very disappointed, and I hope that the other battles that are left will be a little bit more challenging here. Also, why do those spears and swords sally forth completely isolated? I should be grateful, I think, that the main body of the army doesn't scatter at all like in Empire or something crazy. They should just brace and get into some testudo formation, and look at this. I see it wavering, I charge it, and it should rout instantly. They get a bracing at the last second, but... well, they even... will they rout? I don't remember. Actually, yep, they completely shattered. Which is good, as I would have lost a little bit more of my cavalry. It was a little bit risky, I have to admit. And not the perfect move maybe in multiplayer. And look at those guys on the right, they don't have pathfinder shot, they are not shooting at the moment because they just face, I don't know, towards the main body of the enemy but under the spears. And Parthian shot is crucial for all mounted cavalry that... mounted archers. I don't see any point in mounted missile troops like also the crossbow cavalry from the Sassanids who don't have Parthian shot. They are completely useless. Else I like the mounted bows of the Huns. I've always been a missile cav player, also cav heavy in general, and missile cav at that. Missile and shock cav I like. But unfortunately, missile cav is not displayed well in this battle, in this game, in the recent patch, but it should be, I think. Because the time period, shock cavalry and missile cavalry were very dangerous on the battlefield. And they made a good job of displaying the danger that a cavalry force can field. I only say Tagmata cav, but every melee cav and shot cav too. Infantry gets completely wrecked by a decent charge. And at this point, I feel confident that my infantry can defeat the enemies with my cavalry support, of course, mainly morale things. I have still some ammo left, so I can use flaming shot. And just the rear charge penalty and attacked in the rear penalty also are applied by just very light bow units without any ammo left. So I'm gonna pull my units up on this little ridge. I should have done that earlier. And my opponent still has decent troops left. The sword infantry is a little bit concerning, I have to admit. And once again, I don't understand why Hunnic bows on horse have not the ability to do the Parthian shot. Completely ahistorical. And also from a gameplay standpoint, it doesn't make sense. Here I get a good charge with my ex-infantry into his very expensive Lancari Seniores, I believe. Kill a lot on the charge. Decent charge, and with a concentrated rear charge of all of my cavalry units here. Look at how fast they break, and this is only bow cav with one little bit depleted melee cav left. Look at this. And they are spears. So one performance here that is a little bit painful to watch. They are very strong spears, like the Triari maybe. And, well, we have to keep in mind that the enemy... this unit here routed right off the bat with full men left. But look at how much my cavalry gets held up by the routing enemy units. This can be dangerous, and it has often been dangerous in a multiplayer situation where your cav gets caught because of that by enemy cavalry. At this point it's just a moral issue. My opponent gets surrounded here. I say my opponent, the stupid AI who is not programmed, and that's not a good thing. Those Lankari Seniors here are also no threat. And here I'm gonna select Flaming Shot and shoot one volley in, and look at... well, the battle is already won, but it can hasten things up a little bit. A few arrows only, and all of the units here are out instantly. So, less losses for my horde here. And those axes didn't rout as quickly as the other ones. I believe they are the other Hetera Guard.
Victory! The Romans have no army that can stand against the mighty Huns. Onwards to Constantinople.
Alas, in a historical situation, the Huns never sacked Constantinople. Sweet blobbing up of the Warscape engine here. Okay, it's not even a heroic victory. Look at this. 400 losses against close 1,400 losses. Shameful display, I say. Nevertheless, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.